You can easily tell this is thyroid because in the thyroid you see a large number of circular areas called follicles. Each of the circular areas is follicle, and in this follicle, what is this central part called? Colloid. The colloid stores the hormones, and this epithelium here, these cells here are called as follicle cells. So if you go to 40x, again use fine focusing knob. You can see these are follicle cells, correct? And this is colloid. And in the third column, I put something to ignore, right? Structures to ignore. It says parafollicular C cells. I will not ask you in the exam about those. All right. I go back to scanning lens because this time I want to scan outside. Thyroid gland here. Behind the thyroid is parathyroid, just outside. So this is thyroid, right? And what is this? Parathyroid. See the difference here? In the parathyroid, how many types of cells do you have? Two. Chief cells and
Oxyphil.
the chief cells are the ones which look darker. Oxyphil cells are the ones which look lighter. All slides may not show like this. Also, every cell may be dark. So it just depends. By chance, in this slide, you can see easily, right? Dark cells and the light cells, right? Notice here dark cells here. Notice here light cell here, right? Okay, so this is parathyroid. What does it do? What's the function?
It's parathyroid hormone.
Produces parathyroid hormone. And parathyroid hormone will increase blood calcium. What's the next one? Pancreas. Pancreas is slide number 3. Again, now see I'm in 40x. Do not start from 40x. Every time you have to go back to 10x or 4x. Every time. This is pancreas. In this, some slides will show very good, some may not, but this is good. And white is good. Can you see the pancreatic island? A group of light colored cells. See this? So what is this area? Islet of
Langerhans.
It has got A cells and B cells. A cells produce glucagon, B cells produce insulin. You do not have to identify which one is A cell and which one is B cell. Outside this island, what are these cells called? Acinar cells. They are for digestion. They produce pancreatic juice for digestion.
You said it's a pancreatic island?
There are islands, there are small islands. The pancreas has got like 1 million of these islands, what's called islets of Langerhans. Small island is islet. And the next one is,
Pituitary gland.
this is number 1, slide number 1. And it says here, hypophysis. But hypophysis is the other name for pituitary.
Pituitary.
No, this is pituitary, but can you identify whether it is anterior or posterior?
Mm.
Yes, you can,
Okay.
because anterior is loaded with cells. This is full of cells, right? All full of cells. So let me go to lowest magnification, 4x, and I'm going back to 4x to look for area where it is not compactly loaded with cells. See this area here? You see the difference?
Yeah.
So what is this part here?
Anterior.
Anterior pituitary. This part is
Posterior.
posterior pituitary. You know, posterior pituitary stores two hormones, ADH and oxytocin.
Oxytocin. Yeah.
The next one is, now this is the toughest one. In adrenal gland, I told you there are two parts, cortex and medulla. Cortex is the outer part near the capsule. Medulla is the inner part. So you have to look for the slide, go in lowest magnification till you find an area where the cut is good. Good means you have cortex, medulla in the middle, again cortex, right? That's the first thing to do. Once you've done that, everything else is clear. So I'm in the lowest magnification. I'm in the lowest magnification. Even in lowest magnification, I cannot see the whole thing, right? This is lowest magnification. You can see the capsule. Can you see the capsule here? Then this must be cortex, right? Okay. I'm trying to locate some area where it is easy to identify. First of all, if you look here, you see the capsule?
Mm-hmm.
This is the cortex here. Do you notice this difference here?
Mm-hmm.
This medulla. And then again cortex, right? Let us see. See, this is cortex again. And again capsule here, right? You understand all of you? Okay, now let's identify the parts. First of all, if you look at, see the circle-like things here? This outer part here, near the capsule, what do you call this area of the adrenal cortex? There are three zones. First you have to remember the names. What is the outermost called? Zona?
Zona glomerulosa.
Again, say it again. What is the name? Zona what? Outermost? Glomerulus. Glomerulus is like a ball of wool, like a ball. Glomerulus. What's the middle one?
Zona fasciculata.
Zona fasciculata. And
Fasciculata.
innermost is zona reticularis, and then comes the medulla, right? All these three zones make steroid hormones. Zona glomerulosa makes mineralocorticoids for minerals balance, aldosterone. Zona fasciculata makes glucocorticoids for glucose metabolism, like cortisol. And innermost zona reticularis makes sex steroids, androgens, like DHEA. Okay? Let us identify these. Because you know that they go in that order, so it's much easier now. Okay, so let us look at this. For example, here. This is medulla, right?
Mm-hmm.
Clear, all of you? And medulla, in medulla, you will also find some open spaces, maybe some blood vessel. It looks a little bit disorganized, little bit broken up, little bit. And it is in the middle, medulla in the middle. What does it do?
Yeah.
makes epinephrine and norepinephrine. Those are for short-term emergency, fight or flight situation.
Mm-hmm.
From the capsule, the first one here, the outermost part is what? Zona glomerulosa. If I put the pointer in the middle of cortex,
Zona vascular.
zona fasciculata. If I put a pointer here near the medulla,
Zona
zona
reticularis.
reticularis. This is how we identify. Easy? Okay. Just to show you, you don't have to know this, but let me show you. See this thing here, capsule? See this thing, look at circle, right? Isn't it? Glomerulosa, like circle. Okay. And you notice the difference here between cortex and medulla? This cortex, lighter color, this medulla looks a little darker, right? Does it look good or no? See this boundary line between cortex and medulla? Okay, next one is the ovary, correct? Well, ovary is slide number 6, but it doesn't say ovary. It says here mammal Graafian follicle. Graafian follicle means big follicle. The large follicles in the ovary. Just like your follicles in the thyroid, right? Follicles. So the ovary has the follicles, small and big. The big ones are called Graafian follicles.
What slide is the adrenal gland?
What's the adrenal gland? Number 4. We will study the details for the ovary in reproductive system. Today I am going to show you only the parts for endocrine. And notice there's tiny follicles here, circular things here. See small ones here, small one here, bigger one, and then big, and then big, and then more big, right? Correct? Let us say this in this big one here. This is one follicle, another follicle, and so on. In the wall of the follicle, you have 2 layers of cells. The inner layer, I want to zoom in. I will zoom in this wall here to show you these 2 layers. See this inner layer here, and see this is the boundary. This is the outer layer here. The inner layer is called granulosa. Outer layer is called theca. Granulosa inner, theca outer. What do these layers do? As the follicle grows in size, these layers make hormones. Female hormones, especially estrogen. It says oocyte. This is the egg, right? This egg inside in the follicle. So this egg in the follicle is called oocyte. You can delete it from here because this should be in the reproductive system. It has nothing to do with the endocrine system. But just to show you, because LH causes ovulation. Ovulation means this egg will come out of the follicle. And the next is the testes, slide number 5. Each one of these tube-like structure here is seminiferous tubule. Each one of this big area here, and this seminiferous tubule makes sperm. It contains all these cells here to make sperm. Outside these tubules, do you see these cells here? Outside the tubules, in the interstitium, these cells are called as interstitial cells or Leydig cells. The Leydig cells, what do they do? Leydig cells make testosterone. And which hormone stimulates Leydig cells? LH. LH stimulates LL, right? LH stimulates Leydig cells to produce more testosterone. FSH. FSH stimulates seminiferous tubules. And the seminiferous tubules produce sperm. This slide will look totally different if you look at some other slide. So when you look at slides today, do not look at only one slide tray. Look at the slide of the partner. They will look very different. And